Hundreds of cut down trees, entire forests burnt to the ground to make way for farmland. However, this is not the land of the ancient Maya in Central America. It's Asia, more precisely northern Thailand. This region of tree-clad mountains is the home of the Akha people, who came from China at the start of the 20th century. The poor farming soil, exhausted after a few seasons, regularly forces the Akha to clear more land elsewhere. When this happens, they abandon their village and build a new one further in the forest. As soon as the elders have decided to leave and settle somewhere else, the move begins. Nothing will be left inside the 20 or so houses of the village, beginning with the rice stalks. One of the first things to be taken from each house is a bamboo tube sheltering the spirits of the family's ancestors, an item only the head of each family is allowed to carry. Generally built on top of a hill, Akha villages have 2 rows of houses stretched along a line. Standing at both ends of the village are gates of great symbolic meaning. These portals stand on the border between the world of the spirits, the jungle, and the world of man. They protect the village against the evil powers lurking outside. It's therefore vital to strengthen them each year. And for the very same reason, they have to be symbolically destroyed before the village is finally abandoned. The ritual is over, and Myanmar, the village chief, can give the signal to leave. The village pigs are moving too. They need a bit of convincing, but once they get going, they help cut a path for the villagers. All Akha women, from children to grandmothers, have similar festive clothes. A bonnet dotted with silver coins, several rows of colorful beads, a sleeveless top, and a knee-length skirt. The group may have to walk for several days before the chief finds a location suitable for settlement. Fortunately, the travelers can rely on the hospitality of the villages they pass through. Evening is closing in, but Myanmar is not worried. He has seen a few houses not far away. There's enough time for a last break and for the chief to dispense his advice before they ask for shelter. With the break of dawn, the host villagers are already busy. They've started work on the village portals to celebrate the beginning of its third year of existence. It's vital to add a new structure to the gates every year, otherwise they'll lose their protective power against the world of the spirits. After a few years, this series of gates, built one behind the other, looks like a kind of portico or a very short tunnel. Once the new posts are in place, they're decorated with statuettes or bamboo motifs, bows, birds, or stars like these. These ornaments are talismans granting protection against the evil spirits of the jungle. Every year, clearing the forest starts in April. The precise date is carefully chosen. The day the first tree is cut must be clear of unfavorable omens. The musicians repeat the same tune over and over, begging the wind not to be hostile. The team has scattered over a large forest area, starting small fires here and there. These will eventually combine into a single blaze, provided the wind's direction and possible sudden changes have been accurately predicted. The villagers have completed their share of the work. Now all they can do is ask the wind for assistance. Strong, powerful wind, blow on the fire and make the forest burn. The wind has bowed to the Akhas' wishes. Now all they have to do is wait for the dancing sparks and ashes to settle down before they can start clearing fields and planting rice. The forest fires can be seen from far away. These large columns of smoke tell those who remained in the village that the time has come to start working the land. Each family will then perform a ceremony designed to ensure a good crop. The bamboo tube sheltering the ancestors' souls is hung on a kind of altar set up on the terrace. The animals offered to the ancestors will be sacrificed before this altar. The priest then takes a few grains of rice carefully saved from last year's harvest. Everybody then prays to the spirit of the rice, for this year's harvest to be as successful as the previous one, which was exceptional. A sample of the purified seeds is carried inside, where yet another ritual in honor of the ancestors is performed. Such a large number of purification rituals might seem excessive, But for the Akha, rice is much more than just food. It's life itself. They attach enormous value and devote particular care to everything relating to it. For storing their seeds, each family has a large basket where the rice grains are placed after they've been purified. Addressing the bamboo tube sheltering the ancestors' souls, the village priest then chants a long incantation, the legend of the rice.
Let us head towards the fields, ready to receive the seeds. Yes, the time has come to plant the rice. The time of Sikado has come. Soon the rice will be growing, and when the leaves yellow, we will know it is time to harvest. We will bundle the stalks together, and there will be so many bundles that the woman will have to help the men carry them to the village. And there won't be enough lofts in the village to store all the rice. We will have to build many more, so abundant the harvest will be.
Once every ritual has been completed according to tradition, the villagers can begin to sow. The men lead the way, leaving it to the women to carry the baskets full of seeds. The ground claimed from the forest is usually cultivated for 2 or 3 years before being left to lie fallow. It's the village priest that plants the first seeds, following a strict procedure. 3 times he digs a series of 3 holes in the ground to place seeds in. Between each digging session, he throws his spade a bit further up the slope. The reason for this act is unknown, but the magical dimension of the whole operation is obvious since 3 is a sacred number for the Akha. The farmers can then start sowing the rest of the field. As they work, they sing to the animal spirits of the forest.
You, animals who have wings, who usually come to land here, please don't come back to this field, for here we have to plant our rice. Agree to leave so our crop can grow. And you, animals who live on the ground in the forest, please stay away from this field. Don't come here to eat our seeds.
On the edge of the forest, not far from the village, stands a tree surrounded by a fence. This tree is sacred, and the Akha built the fence around it in order to protect the spirit of the forest living inside it. This man is a pima, a priest to the spirits. Part of his duty is to look after this sanctuary. He checks on the place regularly, tidying it up and, if necessary, decorating it. He notices a change since his last visit. The bamboo ladder leading to the altar has been damaged. The Akha are used to considering interaction between the real world and the spirit world as a daily event, and they have an obvious explanation for this damage. The spirit of the forest, probably in a hurry, must have broken the rungs when he last used the ladder. The repairs are done without delay and quickly followed by the sacrifice of a pig. There's a reason why the Akha are currently so concerned about the spirit of the forest's welfare. It's April, the fields are sown, and the men have time to go hunting. But the Akha feel vulnerable out in the jungle, and they would never dare venture in without the spirit of the forest's permission. There are only 2 ways to win his favor: sacrifice an animal or present him with an offering of food. The Aka language doesn't have a word for religion. When they refer to themselves, they say they are the people who practice the Aka way. This expression, the Aka way, stands for everything which bonds and unifies them: traditions, rituals, symbols. Through the Aka way, they learn how to treat illness, cultivate fields, and hunt game. As he proceeds with the offerings, the priest chants an incantation asking the spirit of the forest to grant his blessing and protection to the hunters. After the ceremony, a kind of banquet takes place. The crowd is unusually large, and in fact the hunters gathering here have come from several villages. They will split into smaller parties and scatter into the forest, where they sometimes remain for 2 or 3 days. The forest used to be teeming with game, mainly monkeys and birds, as well as a few wild boars. But the animals have now become scarce. Extensive deforestation has destroyed their natural habitat and driven them away. Before they go, the men need to retrieve their guns from the priest who has purified them, and to make sure they're working. On their return, the hunters are very proud of their success. The dead boar has been carried inside, where it will be divided up and evenly distributed. The head goes to the man who killed the animal. Convention requires him to sprinkle a few drops of water on his boar's snoot before drinking the rest of the cup. The carcass is then quartered. Although the bones are separated from the flesh, nothing will be thrown away. Solidarity between the villagers is a daily reality, and the sharing takes place in public. The bone trophies hanging from the ceiling are entrusted to the village priest, who is also in charge of distributing the meat. He starts by setting aside a few pieces for the children. The monsoon comes in May, and from then on it rains practically all the time. Heavy, haunting rains that make going anywhere complicated and prevent any farm work. The wet season lasts about 4 months, and many ceremonies and rituals take place then. The first festival is called Ayaulala, a ceremony for the village girls who have reached puberty and are looking for a husband. All night long they will play a kind of music by beating bamboo tubes against the ground. The next morning, the young boys go into action. Armed with sticks as their sabers, they get together in boisterous gangs and run inside houses shouting and waving their weapons. They also carry a long wooden plank painted with magic symbols that will be added to the village gate at the end of the afternoon. The aim of this purification ritual is to drive away the spirits who took advantage of the rainy season to hide in the nooks and crannies of the village houses. Tradition demands that the boys are given presents in every house they visit. They receive large cucumbers or watermelons that they'll later savor together during a kind of outdoor children's party. Reminiscent of our Halloween celebrations, the events of this festival may look more like a game organized for the children's sake than a holy ceremony. However, they are part of the Aka way, and as such, each stage must be observed with scrupulous care. The ritual ends with the setting up of the painted plank on the village gate. The spirits have been warned to keep out, but just in case they didn't understand, the most significant ceremony for the Aka is the Swing Festival. It's celebrated once a year, precisely 108 days, or 9 Aka cycles, after the fields were sown. The swing from the previous year is dismantled and a new one built. The first to have a go on the new swing is the village chief. Now that the swing has been formally inaugurated, all the villagers may have a go. But priority is given to the girls, radiant in their beautiful costumes. Like many beliefs of the Aka way, the origin and meaning of this ritual is rather obscure. In fact, each and every Aka ceremony aims at establishing and preserving a fragile harmony between the spirit and human worlds. And who better to charm the spirits into surrender than these beautiful girls on their swing?